progress.
Hello, my name is Tamika Brown, and I'm the director of ECMC The College Place, located in Richmond, Virginia. I'm excited to have the opportunity to share some really good information about preparing for college for students who are what we like to call underclassmen, students who are in 9th and 10th grade, just starting high school, just trying to figure out how should they get started, where should they look, how should they be researching, what decisions should they be making right now that's going to help them be more informed about making decisions about their post-high school life. So today we're going to talk about a couple different things that's going to be helpful for students. But I think it's important first to kind of frame what our talk is going to be about. For us, although our name is The College Place, college is any form of post-secondary education. So that's if a student gets a 6-week training credential, cool, that's college for them. If a student wants to get a bachelor's degree, cool, that's college for them. But essentially, it's any form of post-secondary education. So we want to figure out and help parents and students to figure out what makes the best sense in terms of college fit for the student. So whatever post-secondary pathway that makes sense for that particular student. To do that, we have 3 kind of legs that preparing for college kind of falls under: academic preparation, social preparation, and financial preparation. So I'm going to jump into each one of these 3 buckets to kind of talk about what the preparation for that process looks like, some tips and strategies that could be helpful in helping a student to become prepared in that particular area. And then I'll provide some resources that could be useful and for you and your student using in this process. So the first leg is academic fit. Generally, when we talk about academic fit, a lot of students assume that it means, does my GPA and my SAT match what is acceptable for that particular school? Well, for us, academic fit takes a little bit of more of a macro view. Academic fit means, does this school or is this school going to prepare you for your post-secondary dreams? Is this school going to provide you with the training and the knowledge and the skills for your career of choice? And for some people, that's a very basic question that's easy to answer. For others, it's not as simple because they may not have a clear path or clear understanding of what their career trajectory is going to look like. But that's the question they should ask before they step foot on that campus, to be perfectly honest. So they should be able to determine how that college is going to help them prepare for their particular career. Some of the more basic questions is around, if you're interested in being an accountant, you should attend a school that has accounting as a major, and not a school that doesn't even have it listed. So wise decisions, questions that need answers as you figure out academic fit. So academic training, or is it going to prepare you for career? Also, course rigor short is a factor in academic fit. I tell students to pull a school's freshman profile. That lets you know what was the average GPA, SAT scores, ACT score for students who were admitted in the previous year. Well, take your stats and put it alongside the freshman profile and determine just kind of how you would fit in terms of being accepted to that school. Would it be a risk school, a match school for the particular student? Those are questions that using information like the freshman profile can help them to figure out. Also, again, reiterating the idea around programs. Does the school offer your major? Does it offer career prep programs that's going to help you get ready for your career of choice? If you struggle with math or writing, does the school offer academic resources that are going to help you to be successful? If you have a learning disability, if you have an IEP or a 504 plan, does the school provide support that's going to help you be successful as a student? Those are very particular types of questions that students should come prepared with when they're determining whether or not a school is a good academic fit. So what are some of the things that families could give attention to as students first start high school to get them more academically prepared? Well, one, we encourage them to really explore careers. So take advantage of opportunities to learn about different career opportunities that may exist, and also what careers that are aligned with their particular skills and interests. Also, putting their best foot forward in terms of all coursework. Colleges will see the final grades from grades 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's the information that they to determine essentially the academic part of whether or not you be admitted to a school. So put your best foot forward starting at the beginning of freshman year. Yeah, if you stumble and have a couple, not so stellar grades during ninth grade year, if you show improvement through high school, colleges will honor that. But why start at that disadvantage? Give yourself the best opportunities for success by starting off with strong grades in ninth grade year. One, for colleges, but two, coursework in high school kind of builds. So you need that foundational information before you move on to 10th grade, which is more challenging, and 11th grade, which is even more challenging. So put your best foot forward at the beginning of high school so that it gives you the best chances of having the strongest GPA, and having the mastery of the information to be ready for the next stage. Also, challenge yourself in content areas that you're already strong in. I get questions all the time around, should I take every AP class that my school offers? And my answer is no. I think students should take AP and advanced level coursework in classes that they're already strong in. Colleges want to see that you challenge yourself and you did well with that, or you met the challenge. It doesn't necessarily look as great to get an AP course and you don't do well in it at all. So they rather see you challenge yourself and do well than you challenge yourself and it doesn't necessarily work out to the same degree. So use some wisdom when you're choosing those classes. You want to show yourself in the best light. And so if the idea is that I had a challenge and I approached it and succeeded, then show yourself in that light. Other ways that you can be academically prepared is establishing a relationship with the school counselor. Now, school counselors are overwhelmed. I'll definitely say that. They have huge caseloads across high schools. Many high schools have maybe 5 or 6 counselors and have several hundred students. So they're overwhelmed. But it's important for you to establish a relationship of the student and the parent with the counselor to develop some goals that you can hold the student accountable for, and there could be benchmarks along the way as they move through high school in preparation for their post-secondary journey. So developing 4-year goals at the beginning of high school is going to be really helpful in helping the student to figure out, okay, I've identified this career, this particular career field that I may be interested in. What types of experiences should I have in after high school? So those are the types of questions, those are the types of things that you should be mindful of as you're building out your goals for high school. And doing that with a guidance counselor is going to be helpful because they have the knowledge, skills, and resources and the tools to help students identify what their strengths are and to help them to goal set as well. Identify skills and resources. Identify what resources that exist, what programs you may know about, especially programs that you may want to lean into for 11th and 12th grade year. If it's programming that requires funding, knowing about that program 2 years in advance gives you some time to save or fundraise to be able to afford the program. So it's really great to start this as early as possible so you have time to get ready for certain opportunities that may cost money. It gives you time to plan. Take challenging coursework. Now, the point I made earlier around AP classes still stands true, but take the most challenging coursework that is available to you to kind of unpack what the different coursework is. You have honors. Honors essentially is a more advanced version of the regular curriculum that a school may offer. Some schools may offer a weighted GPA for honors coursework. So, for example, the school may be on a 4.0 grading scale, but honors may be on a 5.0 grading scale. AP or advanced placement is a curriculum that was created by the College Board that offers more college appropriate rigorous classes for students. And so students, it costs a fee for AP. Students will pay to take the test at the end of the year. And at the end of the course, the score that the student gets determines, essentially is up to a 5. I want to be clear about this. If a student takes an AP test, they get a score at the end. The highest they can get is a 5. Students can then use that score to send that scores to schools to determine whether or not they will want to give the student college credit for the AP course they've already taken. So an AP class is not college credit. It means it gives them the opportunity to be considered for college credit at the schools of choice. Each school has a different list of AP courses they accept, and even more specific, each school has a different score that they deem to be acceptable for certain AP courses. Like for calculus, a school may find a 3 acceptable, whereas another school may require 4 or 5. So it depends on the school. That's why the course itself doesn't give you credit. It just gives you the opportunity to be considered for credit at the schools that you're applying to. International Baccalaureate, IB, is again another rigorous form of coursework. Some schools have them attached to college coursework, but the IB program itself is just more rigorous coursework that a student can show to a college that they can do work. And then dual enrollment is essentially college classes that a student is taking at a college or university. In Virginia, most dual enrollment is offered through the community college system, so VCCS. And those classes are college classes. They get college credit for that. And when they apply to college, you have to send your transcript from your dual enrollment coursework through your college, as well as your high school transcript to be considered with your college admissions. So a question I'm often asked as well is, how do I figure out which curriculum makes the most sense? My school offers a lot. And I ask them, well, you have to answer a question when you decide what type of coursework makes the most sense for you. Are you taking a college prep curriculum because you want to show colleges that you're able to do rigorous coursework? Or are you taking college classes in high school because you want to offset the cost of a college degree? So you're doing this coursework before college so that it means less classes you have to take in college. So essentially less class you have to pay for. So that's the question you have to answer. If you're taking it to show that you're able to do rigorous coursework, then I'd say lean into honors and IB. If you are taking it to in order to decrease the amount of college credits you have to take when you enroll in college, then consider AP or dual enrollment. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what's available at your school, figure out what's affordable, because some dual enrollment and AP are not free for most students. So figure out what you can afford, but ultimately what makes sense for your goal. So other pointers for being academically prepared: put your best foot forward now. Again, colleges will see your grades versus 9 through 11 on your transcript. And so you want to show that you have strong grades. It's building knowledge from year to year. And please make sure that you address areas of challenges. So if a student isn't strong in math, or struggling in history, struggling in science, struggling in writing, get that help, get the support that you need in high school, because college professors are not as forgiving when they are looking, when they see these flaws or these challenges when they're reviewing your work. So please, 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 use your teachers to really get critical feedback around areas where you can use some strength, because college is hard and the coursework is hard. So you want to be sure that you're prepared and have all the foundational knowledge you'll need in order to give yourself the best fighting chance once you get in the door. Exams are the SATs and the ACTs. And so both of these tests offer kind of practice versions for students to take as early as 8th grade, I believe. Students can take the PSAT or the pre-ACT. Their study material is available online. I really encourage folks to take advantage of Khan Academy, which has partnered with the College Board to offer kind of test prep, essentially test prep for free online for anyone. It's a great resource. It's such a steal because it's free. And I encourage all students to take advantage of it. It really does a great job of reteaching content in a bare bones way. So I encourage students and families to take advantage of it. And then once students have taken these tests, use the results as a guide for how you should go about an improvement plan. So how you should remediate and prepare for a retest. That's the goal, constant improvement. So using the test results to inform how you move forward and in the process of continuing to prepare for post-secondary success. So I just talked about preparing for college success. Let's talk about what that career exploration piece should be like. And that falls under academic prep, because the classes that they take in high school in a lot of cases informs the type of work that they pursue, or in some cases, the type of work that they're interested in after high school. So we encourage students to take an interest inventory. Many schools have them available through Naviance or through Virginia Education Wizard has one for sure. Students just have to create an account. But the idea is that students should use some type of scientific tool that takes into account their skills and talents to give them some ideas of jobs that give them earning potential. So we encourage them to take advantage of career interest inventories, identify 3 careers that make sense for them based on the assessment results. So explore the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, find videos that show these jobs in action. Don't just stick to the jobs you see all the time. Really jump into these results and challenge yourself to learn about new jobs that you haven't even heard about. Learn about what it takes to become that job, what it takes to become a professional in that job. Find out the education that's necessary. Even look into the income data. What is the average entry-level employee, entry-level person in that particular job? What are they making? And what is the salary scale for that particular role? Find the research. Find and do the research. So to learn more about the jobs, we encourage students to do some shadowing, even if it's one day, to just have a day in the life to see the job up close and personal. I find that this really gets students super excited about pursuing the job. They can actually envision themselves in the space because they're actually in the workspace. So these are the carrots that really motivate students through persistence, to be honest. Attend college and career fairs. Any opportunity to learn more about schools, to learn more about careers, really give them the opportunity to just explore every and anything. Go on college visits. Be on the actual college campus to see if it's a good fit for you, if you envision yourself walking around among the space. So take advantage of these opportunities to increase exposure and exploration about careers and post-secondary institutions. So now that we talk about academic fit, let's talk about social fit. Social fit, generally, people assume that this means how you, if you can make friends on campus. But social fit includes a whole lot of different things. It really is about how you engage with the space as a person. And so there are a lot of things that could be taken into context. The location, where is the school located, whether it's an urban setting, suburban, rural setting, and not only where it's located, but what setting would be most conducive to you being successful as a student. Distance from home. If students struggle with homesickness, then they probably shouldn't go to schools that's farther away because they are going to constantly be struggling with not being home. So distance is a factor. Student body, is it all girls? Is it co-ed? Is it a large school, a small school? Does it offer a lot of course offerings? Does it not offer as many? Is it a large school that offers a lot of athletic events, but you rather have one-on-one attention from teachers? These are all questions that you have to answer when you're determining social fit. Lastly, affiliations are going to be huge, especially for private schools. Many of them have graduation may be associated with the school's affiliation. So I know there's some Christian schools that may have chapel hours. Regardless, ask the questions to find out if it's a private school, if they have an affiliation, and what does it take for you to graduate? Some students may not be willing to commit to chapel hours. Other schools may not care. They don't mind meeting the requirement. You just want to know if there are graduation requirements that are associated with something like this before you choose to enroll in that school. So what does social preparation looks like as you prepare for college? It looks like exploring talents and interests, just really getting a good feel of who they are in development as they develop as individuals, creating opportunities to demonstrate commitment, responsibility, as well as leadership, and then developing emotional intelligence so that they can be able to be well-adjusted adults and engage with people from different backgrounds. So in social prep, we really want students to give attention to time management. This is going to be a skill that I cannot not overstate. In college, parents won't be there. A lot of the responsible adults who've been holding you accountable and providing you oversight, they will not be there. So you have to be able to manage your own time and your own schedule. So set a schedule with your daily activities, your commitments, and tasks. And they can start this as soon as ninth grade, because the idea is that once they start keeping up with the schedule, that's something that they can easily transition to and continue once they go into college. Include even downtime. Time that they're using to play video games, time they're using to talk on the phone or connect with folks. Include all of that so that they can have some idea what it looks like to schedule and actually keep a schedule. Use SMART goals to keep them on task. Students, SMART goals are an acronym that we use to describe, it's a helpful way for us to plan what goals look like for us. And so specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-related are all kind of qualifiers that you should use to create goals that make sense for you, but not only make sense for you, but goals that you can actually achieve. And so the idea is that you're being more specific about how you spell out the goal, how you identify the goal, so you're more likely to achieve it. Preparation, we really want to encourage students to kind of step outside the box. And so there are ways that they could build up their emotional intelligence and also how they engage with the world around them, right? We encourage them to connect with 4 schoolmates that they don't know. 4 schoolmates that they're not connected with in their neighborhood, their class. It could be someone that doesn't look like them. But the idea is 4 schoolmates that they do not know. Connect with them and connect with different 4 schoolmates every month if you like. But the idea is that they're engaging with people that they're not comfortable with, that they may not know. And they're building that muscle around emotional intelligence. Volunteer for a cause that they find important. Colleges care obviously about how they spend their time outside of school, but what better way than to give back? And if they start in 9th grade year, by the time that they start applying to college later on, they have a couple years under their belt of volunteer work and hundreds of hours by then. Join a club or try out for a team, doing something that you care about or something that you are good at. But spend this time wisely. Also, talk to current college students about their experience so it won't seem so new to you. Yes, it'll be the first time you are attending college, but I mean, get as much insight as possible. One, it really excites you to learn about other people's experience and just envisioning what your experience could be like. But also, you may have a lot of questions and tapping into your peers who have the same experiences, who've had the same upbringing and experiences as you had growing up. It could be really helpful in helping you to have some context around what your experience could be like as well. So as students are figuring out how they should spend their time and what types of activities make sense, we really encourage them to participate in summer and after-school activities that improve their skills, help them to demonstrate their talents and passions, and help them to foster some sort of networking, whether it be social networking, professional networking, or career networking. The idea is that these activities are intentional. They're not just ways that they're spending time or ways that they are staying busy. They should be improving their skills, demonstrating their talents and passions, and fostering a sense of networking or connecting with other people. The last leg of determining fit is financial fit, and this is super important. There has to be a fit in all 3 areas or it's not a fit in all. So let's talk about financial fit and what this would look like for students. So financial fit speaks to the family's ability to afford the entire education program that a student needs for their career of choice. So it speaks of affordability for both the student and the family. Thinking about the particular degree program at the school. Sometimes students think about, and most students think about financial aid or paying for college in this way. They think about it 1 year at a time. So if they get enough financial aid, they got an aid statement, they're like, all right, cool, I got enough aid for this year. But realistically, they have to think about 4 years. They have to, if they're pursuing a bachelor's degree. And so one of the things they should be aware of is that there's tons of scholarship aid made available to students who are graduating high school and starting college. There's not as much aid available to students who are persisting, who are upperclassmen going through, other upper years in college. So being aware of this, students have to think about if they got $6,000 in scholarships as a entering freshman, how would they fill that gap for years to come? Yes, students can still apply to scholarships, but that money is not guaranteed. But they should be aware of the cost of the whole program. Also, the entire education program means if you're interested in a career that requires more than just a bachelor's degree, if it requires a master's degree or PhD, you to go to medical school or to law school, that's a program that you have to think about the entire program and how much it could cost a student. What's helpful about this is that it helps students to understand where it may make sense for them to borrow, where it may make sense for them to save or work and pay out of pocket. So understanding the whole program helps them to plan better. To understand financial fit, it's important for folks to understand what cost of attendance is. So every college or university has a number that they publish. And that number is the average amount that they believe a student enrolling in their school will need in order to matriculate successfully. But a lot of things are included in this cost of attendance. And so we want to unpack it just for a bit so you know where you have some agency in this process. Tuition and fees, money you pay directly to the school for taking classes, paying the professors, taking classes in the buildings. Room and board is what students pay to live on grounds. Now, this term is changing this year to meals and housing. Meals and housing. So essentially, it pays for their dorm where they live, and then their meal plan. And meals, if student lives off campus as well, they include that as well. Books and supplies, obviously, you know what you need in the information, the resources you'll need for each one of the courses. Now, colleges will report one number for this, but it's up to you how much you actually spend in this area. Same thing with transportation, personal expenses. Colleges will report that students need X amount for that amount, but it depends on you and what your experiences are to determine how much you actually spend in that area. Some schools even can include studying abroad in their cost of attendance or the cost of a computer purchase. But it's important for you to know that you have some agency because there are things that you're going to pay directly to the school, tuition and fees and room and board if the student lives on campus. But if they don't, then you control how much you're going to spend in those particular areas. The student controls that. So I tell them, break out a calculator and recalculate these numbers to come up with numbers that would more accurately reflect what your what your totals will be. What will it cost you in transportation to go to University of Chicago? What will it cost you in books and supplies to be a psychology major? Now, we know that that can vary from school to school, but these are things that students can start to do the research so they can have a more clearer picture of what it may realistically cost them to go to a school. But in a lot of cases, it's going to be less than what the cost of attendance is. So to kind of give some context, I think it's important to kind of look at what the numbers are, like what is the cost of attendance, what the averages are across the country. And so it's reported that on average, a student in this country will pay about $18,500 to attend a community college, about $27,000 to attend a public college or university, and then about $54,000 to attend a private college. Financial aid is the way in which a lot of students offset some of their college costs. It's the way in which students receive support from the federal government, from state agencies, institutions as in colleges and universities, and even some private sources to help to contribute to their, to help to handle their college costs. In this country, there are two forms of financial aid: gift aid and self-help. In most cases, when we receive a gift, we pay nothing for it, so it's free. That's why we refer to grants and scholarship as gift aid. It's free money. The next, you have self-help. Self-help is a way in which a student supports themselves through the college experience. It can come in the form of work study, which allows a student to get a job on or near their campus and make money. And then loans, which is money that students borrow with the understanding that they will repay it with interest. So those are the two buckets of financial aid. And all this aid can be need-based, but only grants, scholarships, only grants, work study are need-based. Grants, work study, and loans, are need-based aid. So aid sources, the federal government, the state of Virginia offers financial aid. Different colleges and universities offer financial aid. And lastly, private entities, those are scholarship organizations or different civic groups. But there are different aid sources that exist. But I think it's just important for you to know what are the ways that you can access financial aid. So how do you prepare for a financial fit? One, gaining awareness of college costs. Those are the numbers for the averages nationally. But there's some schools that you already know your student is interested in, or the student knows that you're interested in. So look into what the cost of attendance is for that school and watch it over time. Watch how it changes so you can anticipate college costs as well. Develop financial literacy. Learn how to use money. Learn how to save money. Learn how to earn money. Learn about the different types of documents that you're going to have to complete when you get a job. All of these things are going to be helpful as they transition into adulthood, let alone going into college. So please, please, please make sure students are building that financial literacy muscle. I know in the state of Virginia, it's a graduation requirement, financial literacy. So we just want to make sure that they have the skills. Also, talk with parents about paying for college. No one likes to talk about money. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary to being prepared for college. So what are some of our pointers? One, use an FSA net price calculator. This is a great tool that exists online. Every college is required to keep one. But what it does is that it allows a student to input their family's income information and their grades information to find out what it will cost them after all gift aid is applied for them to go to any college throughout this country. It's a great tool. When I encounter students and families who say they don't know how much it's going to cost them to go to a certain school, I'm always baffled because the tools are there to find out how much it will cost you to go to a certain school. So please take advantage of it. Also, take a free financial literacy course. There are plenty available online. I know ECMC certainly hosts some, but take advantage of the free resources that are around to help students become financially literate. Understand money, understand credit cards, understand loans, understand interest rates before you jump into this process of trying to figure out how to pay for college. Also, get a part-time job. One is good use of your time. Two, it helps you build a skill set and actually get used to the demands of working a job, being a professional. But three, it helps you to save money to help you contribute towards college costs. Even if you're saving enough money to pay for books, that's helpful. Lastly, open a savings account to put the money that you're saving from that part-time job with parental permission, of course. You need parental permission if you're under the age of 18 in order to get a bank account. One account that a lot of folks have been using to save for college is the Virginia 529 College Savings Account. It's a great resource. It's tax-free. So definitely look into it. It's a great, like I said, it's a great resource. It's a great way for folks to save money for school. So definitely look into Virginia 529. We know talking about paying for college is going to be very uncomfortable. We get it across the board. It's nobody's favorite topic, but it's necessary. So families should really have frank conversations about family income. I know it's uncomfortable, but it could be helpful for the student to understand whether or not, how much they will qualify for need-based aid. Also, families can consider if they have money in savings accounts or investment accounts that they can consider using to pay for college. Families and students can commit to a payment plan every semester to a school. It's usually a 4 monthly payments each semester that starts a month before school starts. Colleges essentially want parents to have at least at least a month under their belt before they start, before the semester starts with payment plans. So that's something to discuss. And lastly, one big topic is borrowing loans. I think there should be transparency around whether the parent is willing to apply for loans for the student. And then if the student is willing to apply for loans for themselves. Yes, students can still get a college degree without taking out tons of student loan debt. It requires some strategy, but it's possible. But if you choose the road where you would rather borrow, be smart about how you borrow, be wise about interest rates, and just use some thoughtfulness about how you approach that, especially if you may be pursuing more than one degree. So next steps, one, meet with your college counselor to establish your college and career goals. Stay in regular communication with your college, with your school counselor, because they may be aware of some opportunities that may come across their desk that could be a good fit for you. So build a strong relationship with them. And lastly, because you're going to need them for letters of recommendation when you go to apply for college. Most colleges require you to have at least one letter of recommendation from your school counselor. So build a relationship, butter them up, be their friend, because you're going to need them. Next, get tutoring in weak content areas. If you already know you're struggling in certain areas, it's not okay to say, well, I'm just not good at math. Yes, we are all going to encounter areas we're not good at, but it is our responsibility to figure out how to strengthen ourselves in those areas so we can be our best possible selves. And if you have the opportunity to build that muscle before you get into college, where you're already going to be presented with a different set of challenges, handle that as best as you can ahead of time. So start with that tutoring now, so that you can have that foundational understanding for the next level. Join groups and organizations that engage with causes you care about, and pursue opportunities for responsibility and leadership. Use the internet, use social media to find groups that are doing things that you care about, organizations that are doing work you care about, causes for you to volunteer for. There is no limit to the ways in which you can explore your talents and skills that will turn a college off. No, they want to really see you lean into the things that you care about, and because those are the types of that's the type of passion they want to see demonstrated on their campuses. So start developing membership or joining organizations and committed to causes as early as possible, so that you can show that you've been active for many years and that you've taken on opportunities to be a leader. You've taken on opportunities to lead projects, to lead committees. Just you've shown that you've committed beyond just being a member. Also, take a career assessment. There are many available online. Schools even have access to quite a few, those who have access to Naviance and sites like that. But take a career assessment and use the results to guide your career exploration. I think it's an awesome place for folks to start, not starting with what college do I want to go to. No. Start with a career assessment, and then identify the careers that make sense for you, careers that are of interest to you, and then figure out what types of education is necessary to have that career. You may find that the college may not require a bachelor's degree, and great, cool. You may find that it may require a master's degree, great, cool. But you want to know what the education is so you can plan for it. Also, experience the careers and colleges that you're interested in person. Go to see what it's like to be on the grounds of that campus. Reach out to a professional doing that job and ask to shadow them, or at least have an opportunity to ask them tons of questions to get some insight about their experience. But you should not be walking into a college or have an idea about going into a career if you've seen it. Too many students start paths like that and then start the work or start being exposed to the job way too late and realize they hate it. We want that exposure early on, one, because they can weed out the things that they think they want to do and then they realize they don't want to. But then in addition to that, it really, for students who are experiencing careers that they care about, it gets them excited because they can see themselves in that space. So having experience early on is a win-win across the board. Begin dialogue with the parents about paying for college. The earlier this conversation starts, the better. I know it's uncomfortable. I can't overstate how uncomfortable it is to talk about money, especially with adults and children. But it is going to be a necessary conversation to help the student effectively plan for their post-secondary success. Lastly, get help if you need it. We are available here at the College Place. There are tons of resources available at your school and throughout the state of Virginia. So reach out. I'll give my contact information in a second. But reach out if ever we could be of any support of you and your work. We have this great opportunities guide that we create every year in the state of Virginia. We give out, I think last year we gave out 155,000 copies of this free resource. It's a workbook, it's kind of like a magazine, almost 50 pages, color copies of all the information, all the nuts and bolts you'll need to access college and financial aid in the state of Virginia. Please take advantage of it. You can order hard copies of it. We're now accepting pre-orders for our 2023-2024 workbook. It'll be shipped out beginning in September, mid to late September. But you can pre-order now. And we send out those orders in order in which they're received. So the earlier you pre-order, the better. And that list went out in March. For sure. But if you don't want to order a hard copy, we have a soft copy on our website. You can just use that link there to find those resources, as well as our many other resource guides on our website. So I hope this talk gave you some marching orders, things to do, next steps, a call to action for getting ready for post-secondary success, particularly preparing for college. Students who are in 9th and 10th grade, you're already behind the curve. Let's jump into this. So I know I gave a lot of information. Find 4 or 5 things that you could get started on right now, or ways that you can lean into preparing for college right now. One step is all it takes. And if ever I can help you, reach out. No question is too big or too small. We just want to make sure you have the knowledge, skills, and resources to pursue your post-secondary dreams. I'm Tamika Brown from The College Place. Thanks so much for your attention and your time. Here's my contact information if I could be of any help. But if not, thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.